Welcome to JKR Games. I'm Eric, and today I'll be doing a cookie run of Moorsky in Fenix Rage. I'll try to provide some tips as we watch this footage. I'm going to try to show at least one failed attempt followed by a successful attempt for each cookie run. This one, the trickiest part is that goober by the cookie that's going back and forth really fast, or up and down really fast. Alright, this next level, the key is that you want to reignite after you bust through that column of ice blocks, because you'll need the flame again to get through another bit of ice blocks. That one there, you dash across the top of it and it will bust it open and you can get down to the cookie. And from here, you just be aware of the goobers coming back down as you go up through the portal and down to the goal. Now in this next level, you need to, if you were just going for the end of the level, you wouldn't need to ignite, but since you need to get to that cookie behind that ice wall there, you do need to go over here and catch fire. Now, I've played the game a lot since I recorded this. You could just dash straight across between these platforms and completely avoid all of those goobers really easily, but I didn't realize that yet. Alright, then up through here, not too tricky of a pattern, and then avoid the paths of those goobers there. Now this level takes a lot of patience if you aren't really anticipating where all of the flames are ending up. The speed run of this is much more tricky because you have to do it hit every single flame. But I'll show you that in the time run video. And then of course the chamber where the cookie is, the patterns of those goobers jumping around is also pretty tricky. Just time it just right, and you can snag the cookie and get to the goal. In this level, you're going to have to ignite twice. Once to grab the cookie, and then again to get into the goal path. That descent is a little bit tricky because you do need to jump at least once to kind of realign yourself up to be able to miss that third goober coming down. And then of course the timing of those goo laser things. Alright, this one's tricky because these goo lasers are so close together. But if you utilize the dash, you can buy yourself a little bit more hang time between those two lasers. Now this level gets pretty tricky going between each chamber, and it's also really easy to accidentally hit the goal like I just did there. You almost have to dash or jump just in time to avoid that. And then coming back, I mean, you basically have to do the course 3 times because you go to the right once, to the left once, and then back to the right to the goal. So it just takes a little bit of practice. Now here, you want to ignite all those times, and then again with the timing between the goo lasers. Coming back down is a little bit more tricky than going up, I think. But once you know where you're going, it's not too difficult to get there and back. And then down to the ascent columns towards the goal. Just avoid. Their paths aren't too difficult to avoid. They only intersect right at the middle of the column there. Now this level gave me a whole lot of trouble. Probably like 5 to 10 minutes of trying, just because there's so many goobers going up, and it's not really a regular pattern. I still haven't really figured out what the exact pattern there is. There's probably a really efficient path that if you're looking at just one part of it, you can tell where exactly you're going. But anyway, the key is to dash back and forth to grab that cookie real quick in the middle. Now this level, since doing the speed run, it's kind of frustrating to watch this, being so patient with it, but at the same time, since you do have to go down into the middle there to grab the cookie, the pattern changes because the two rows of guys are have very different spacing. So over time, the path to take through that changes drastically. Alright, this level, pretty straightforward. There's the two goobers on the left, the one on the right. So if you just follow the one on the right up and back down, you can pretty easily go up and grab that cookie real quick. The rest of the stage is pretty simple. Just have that cross pattern with these two goobers there. Pretty easy to avoid them if you're paying attention. Now this one, all these portal levels, especially this one because it's in a grid, really messes with my head. I still don't... If I had to play this level again, I'd have to take a couple minutes to figure it out again because... yeah, it's pretty tricky. Just remember to ignite on that wall there so that you can break through the wall. And what just happened there was I wasn't lined up with the goal block, so I dashed right past it and hit the goo laser. So you don't want that to happen. Just be patient with your alignment if you're not going for speed, and you'll be good to go. Alright. This is one of the longer ones. There's another one that took a really long time, really by necessity. I think this one could be done with the cookie pretty quickly. It's a pretty simple stage, but since those goobers are moving such a short distance really quickly, that makes for a really tricky cookie grab to get in there and back out. But if you time it just right, it's not too difficult. Now this level, you want to go up and ignite first so that you can just continue right on to the end of the level. I mean, or you could get the cookie first and then go all the way around. But if you go up first, grab the flame, then you don't have to deal with coming back down through these guys yet again. Just grab the cookie and then head straight across. This level took a lot of patience within the actual level, not with just the sheer number of times to try it. It really only took me a couple of times, but yeah, this patience for the goo lasers to alternate can get frustrating if you jump the gun too much or anything like that. But otherwise, pretty straightforward to get that cookie. Now this stage, I found that when they're all lined up, like they just were, in a big row and a big column, that's the easiest time to get past them. but you might find a good path otherwise. See, I wait for them to line up right there, and then it's a pretty solid path to get out of their way. Just patience for those two guys, and then patience for those two to get out of the way, and you're home free. Now this level just looks like sheer madness, and it really is. None of the paths are really related to each other in any meaningful way that I could figure out. You just have to kind of make your way through and hope for the best. That's really all I can say about it. Now, if you're doing the time run, or trying to get that red cube, there is a specific strategy, but I'll go over that in a separate video. Here is just a whole lot of patience. You can't go any faster than those goobers on above and below you are going. So, yeah, and then there's also very tight, I mean, relatively tight gaps between those guys going back and forth. So, just be patient. You do want to get up to that cookie really quick so that you avoid hitting the moving goobers on the way back down. This is another level that took me quite a few tries to just get to the end, let alone get the cookie as well. I think the best strategy is to go up here first before you go down to get the cookie, because well, you do have to go up there first either way, because you have to ignite from the volcano shooter thing there. But if you ignite twice up here at the top, then you don't have to go all the way back up another time because you'll need to break through some blocks of ice down here at the bottom. Just drop down there real quick, and up quick through those 4 lasers, and then, of course, you can go back through from the left side since you've busted open that wall already. Now we have the boss that took me way too long to beat. There's another boss later in the game that I'm currently trying to figure out that is much harder than this, but compared to the last couple, this one is requires a lot of patience. Now the thing you'll see here in a moment is that the cookie is encased in ice on the left there. So for the cookie run, you want to direct this guy's aim over there so you can get access to the cookie, which I didn't do very well just then. But eventually, this is like a half hour later or so for my successful run. Eventually, you'll get used to guiding his shots and getting out of the way. The third level of this is the trickiest because he's moving, which affects the type of path the shots make. But you might get lucky like I just did just then, and you'll get the cookie and the gold star for the time run. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Moorsky in Fenix Rage. Join me next time for more Fenix Rage fun.